Analyze the socio-cultural scenario of India that led to the emergence of socio-religious reform movements in the 19th century. Answer. Pre-19th century context. Traditional Indian society was deeply rooted in religious practices and social hierarchies. The caste system was rigid, and practices like sati, child marriage, and female infanticide were prevalent. Impact of British rule. Colonial rule introduced modern education and Western ideas, leading to a critical examination of traditional practices and beliefs. Intellectual awakening. Educated Indians began questioning irrational customs and religious superstitions. This period saw an emergence of a rationalistic and reformist outlook. Role of press and literature. The development of the press and literature in regional languages played a significant role in spreading reformist ideas. Discuss the key reform movements and their contributions to Indian society. Answer. Brahmo Samaj. Raja Ram Mohan Roy advocated monotheism, condemned idolatry, and fought against social evils like sati. Arya Samaj. Swami Dayanand Saraswati promoted the idea of back to the Vedas, opposed idol worship, and emphasized Vedic values. Young Bengal movement. Henry Vivan Desrosiers encouraged questioning of religious and social dogmas, promoted scientific, rational thinking. Prarthana Samaj. Atmaram Pandarang focused on monotheism and social reforms such as intercaste dining and intercaste marriages. Evaluate the impact of these reform movements on the status of women and the caste system in India. Answer. Improvement in women's status. Reform movements strongly advocated for women's education, abolition of sati, and widow remarriage. Fight against caste discrimination. Efforts to abolish untouchability and caste-based inequalities were initiated. Movements like Arya Samaj and Prarthana Samaj promoted social equality. Legislative changes. British India witnessed several laws being passed to support these reforms, notably against sati and for widow remarriage. What were the limitations of these socio-religious reform movements? Answer. Limited reach. Many reforms were confined to urban areas and the educated middle class. Rural and uneducated masses were largely untouched. Opposition from orthodox groups. These movements often faced resistance from conservative sections of society, who were inclined to uphold traditional practices. Fragmentation of society. Some movements led to the creation of new sects or subgroups, sometimes causing further social divisions. How did the socio-religious reform movements contribute to the rise of nationalism in India? Answer. Awakening of social consciousness. Reform movements fostered a sense of collective identity among Indians, crucial for the nationalist struggle. Questioning colonial rule. These movements indirectly encouraged questioning the moral and political basis of British rule in India. Unity across diverse groups. Efforts to reform society brought together diverse sections, laying a foundation for broader national unity. Assess the role of education and print culture in promoting socio-religious reforms. Answer. Spread of modern education. Western education introduced new ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity, influencing reformist thinking. Role of print culture. Newspapers, books, and pamphlets played a pivotal role in disseminating reformist ideas across various social strata. Discuss the role of individual leaders in shaping the direction and impact of these reform movements. Answer. Raja Ram Mohan Roy. His rational approach and advocacy against social evils set the tone for subsequent reforms. Swami Vivekananda emphasized the revival of Hindu spirituality and advocated for social service as a means of reform. Jyotirao Phule focused on the upliftment of lower castes and women, challenging caste and gender discrimination. Examine the interplay between socio-religious reform movements and traditional Indian practices. Answer. Reform versus tradition. While reformers sought to modernize Indian society, they often faced stiff resistance from traditionalists who viewed these changes as a threat to their established authority. Selective adoption of traditions. Many reform movements sought to reinterpret traditional practices rather than completely discard them. Prelims MCQs. Which of the following was a common practice among upper-class Bengalis and Rajputs, considered illegal by the Bengal Regulations of 1795 and 1804? A. Child marriage. B. Sati. C. Female infanticide. D. Polygamy. Answer. C. Female infanticide. The Hindu Widows Remarriage Act, which legalized the marriage of widows and declared children from such marriages legitimate, was passed in which year? A. 1829. B. 1856. C. 1872. D. 1891. Answer B. 1856. Which reformer is credited with opening several schools for girls, especially from lower castes? A. Raja Ram Mohan Roy. B. Jyotiba Phule. C. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. D. Swami Dayanand Saraswati. Answer B. Jyotiba Phule. The Sarda Act of 1930 aimed to address which social issue? A. Widow remarriage. B. Education of women. C. Child marriage. D. Untouchability. Answer C. Child marriage. Who among the following was a key figure in the self-respect movement in South India during the 1920s? A. Gopal Krishna Gokhale. B. E. V. Ramaswamy Nikkar. C. Bal Gangadhar Tilak. D. Bhimrao Ambedkar. Answer B. E. V. Ramaswamy Nikkar. The act of burning the Manusmriti as a symbolic gesture against caste inequalities was led by A. Mahatma Gandhi. B. Jyotiba Phule. C. Dr. B. R. Ambedkar. D. Swami Vivekananda. Answer C. Dr. B. R. Ambedkar. The Bengal Regulation of 1829, related to the abolition of sati, was first applicable to which presidency? A. Madras Presidency. B. Bombay Presidency. C. Bengal Presidency. D. Delhi Presidency. Answer C. Bengal Presidency. Who among the following reformers was associated with the founding of no less than 35 girls' schools in Bengal? A. Raja Ram Mohan Roy. B. Pandit Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. C. Swami Vivekananda. D. Swami Dayanand Saraswati. Answer B. Pandit Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Which act, passed in 1891, forbade the marriage of girls below the age of 12? A. Hindu Widows Remarriage Act. B. Age of Consent Act. C. Sarda Act. D. Civil Marriage Act. Answer B. Age of Consent Act. The self-respect movement, a significant movement in South India during the 1920s, was led by which of the following leaders? A. Jyotiba Phule. B. E. V. Ramaswamy Nikkar. C. B. R. Ambedkar. D. M. G. Ranade. Answer B. E. V. Ramaswamy Nikkar. The concept of no religion, no caste, no God for mankind was propagated by which disciple of Sri Narayana Guru? A. E. V. Ramaswamy Nikkar. B. Sahadaran Ayyappan. C. B. R. Ambedkar. D. Jyotiba Phule. Answer B. Sahadaran Ayyappan. Which Maharaja encouraged the non-Brahman movement, which spread to southern states in the early 20th century? A. Maharaja of Mysore. B. Maharaja of Travancore. C. Maharaja of Kolhapur. D. Nizam of Hyderabad. Answer C. Maharaja of Kolhapur. The Bengal Regulation 17 of 1829, enacted to abolish sati, was first implemented in which presidency? A. Madras Presidency. B. Bombay Presidency. C. Bengal Presidency. D. Delhi Presidency. Answer C. Bengal Presidency. Which act, passed in 1870, made it compulsory to register the birth of all babies to combat the practice of female infanticide? A. Hindu Widows Remarriage Act. B. Age of Consent Act. C. Child Marriage Restraint Act. D. Infanticide Regulation Act. Answer D. Infanticide Regulation Act. The first major Indian women's organization set up by a woman, Bharat Stree Mahamandal, was convened by which influential figure? A. Sarojini Naidu. B. Sarla Devi Chaudharani. C. Pandita Ramabai. D. Kamla Nehru. Answer B. Sarla Devi Chaudharani. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar led the Mahad Satyagraha in which year to challenge the regressive customs of caste Hindus? A. 1927. B. 1930. C. 1925. D. 1932. Answer A. 1927. The Maharaja of Kolhapur played a significant role in encouraging which movement in the early 20th century? A. Self-respect movement. B. Non-Brahman movement. C. Harijan movement. D. Swadeshi movement. Answer B. Non-Brahman movement. Which act, enacted in 1930, raised the marriage age to 18 for boys and 14 for girls? A. Hindu Widows Remarriage Act. B. Age of Consent Act. C. Sarda Act. D. Child Marriage Restraint Act. Answer C. Sarda Act. Who among the following was not a part of the Young Bengal movement? A. Henry Viven Desrosiers. B. Dwarkanath Tagore. C. Ramtanu Lahiri. D. Pari Chand Mitra. Answer: B. Dwarkanath Tagore. The Age of Consent Act, 1891, which raised the marriage age of girls to 12 years, was primarily advocated by which reformer? A. Raja Ram Mohan Roy. B. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. C. Bairamji Malabari. D. Pandita Ramabai. Answer: C. Bairamji Malabari. Which social reformer established the Widow Remarriage Association in the 1850s? A. Vishnu Shastri Pandit. B. Keshub Chanda Senator. C. Dayanand Saraswati. D. M. G. Ranade. Answer: A. Vishnu Shastri Pandit. The Prarthana Samaj, a prominent socio-religious reform movement, was established in which year? A. 1861. B. 1867. C. 1870. D. 1887. Answer: B. 1867. Which of the following statements is true about the socio-religious reform movements in 19th century India? A. They were predominantly rural in nature. B. They emphasized the infallibility of ancient scriptures. C. They were largely driven by the newly emerging middle class. D. They rejected all Western influences. Answer: C. They were largely driven by the newly emerging middle class. The first major Indian women's organization set up by a woman, Bharat Stri Mahamandal, was convened by A. Sarojini Naidu. B. Sarla Devi Chaudharani. C. Pandita Ramabai. D. Kamla Nehru. Answer: B. Sarla Devi Chaudharani. The Bengal Regulation 17 of 1829, related to the abolition of sati, was extended to the Madras and Bombay presidencies in what year? A. 1829. B. 1830. C. 1840. D. 1850. Answer: B. 1830. The Native Marriage Act, also known as the Civil Marriage Act of 1872, aimed to address which social issue? A. Widow remarriage. B. Female education. C. Child marriage. D. Untouchability. Answer: C. Child marriage. Which social reformer played a pivotal role in the establishment of the Arya Mahila Samaj? A. Pandita Ramabai. B. Sarojini Naidu. C. Kamla Nehru. D. Sarla Devi Chaudharani. Answer: A. Pandita Ramabai. Who among the following was not a major contributor to the establishment of women's education in India? A. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. B. Raja Ram Mohan Roy. C. J.E.D. Bethune. D. Swami Vivekananda. Answer: D. Swami Vivekananda. The first meeting of the Bharat Stri Mahamandal, the first major Indian women's organization set up by a woman, was convened in which city? A. Allahabad. B. Calcutta. C. Bombay. D. Delhi. Answer: A. Allahabad. The Mahad Satyagraha, led by Dr. B. R. Ambedkar in 1927, was primarily focused on A. Women's education. B. Abolishing untouchability. C. Hindu-Muslim unity. D. Promotion of Hindi language. Answer: B. Abolishing untouchability. The concept of no religion, no caste, no God for mankind was transformed into no religion, no caste, no God for mankind by A. E. V. Ramaswamy Nikkar. B. Sri Narayana Guru. C. Sahadaran Ayyappan. D. Jyotiba Phule. Answer: C. Sahadaran Ayyappan. The British impact on the caste system in India included A. Strengthening the caste-based occupations. B. Undermining caste consciousness through administrative measures. C. Promoting inter-caste marriages. D. Legalizing caste-based discrimination. Answer: B. Undermining caste consciousness through administrative measures. Which reform movement primarily aimed at reconstructing Hindu society based on the original fourfold division? A. Brahmo Samaj. B. Arya Samaj. C. Prarthana Samaj. D. Aligarh movement. Answer: B. Arya Samaj. The Mahad Satyagraha led by Dr. B. R. Ambedkar in 1927 was a landmark event challenging A. British colonial policies. B. Hindu-Muslim unity. C. Caste-based water restrictions. D. English education system. Answer: C. Caste-based water restrictions. The establishment of the All India Women's Conference in 1927 was significant for its a. exclusive focus on political rights for women, b. emphasis on an egalitarian approach towards women's issues, c. concentration on urban middle-class women's issues, d. role in promoting religious education for women. Answer: B. emphasis on an egalitarian approach towards women's issues. Thanks for watching.